Hey everyone, it's Anthony, or you might know me as IcyNewYear. Um, I'm doing a video. Well, it's an audio recording, but I'm uploading it to the old YouTubes. Uh, I started a project where I'm writing a micro RPG, basically a full role playing game that's 300 words or less each month. And this is the second one I've done, and I did a recording of it with a really good friend of mine, T. Huth. And yeah, I just wanted to put it out here. You can get it for free or pay what you want on IcyNewYear.itch.io. That will be down in the description below. So this game is called My Feet Are Tired, but I'm Not There Yet. And I'm just going to read the beginning of it. The setting is, you awoke one morning to see that the ocean was gone. Looking over that endless sea of sand, what else was there to do but walk? You grab a meager few supplies and start to walk. This is a game of discovery, overcoming adversity, and the wonder of things unknown. The Traveler should get a warm ending unless both players decide otherwise. And basically, it's a two-player game that uses a deck of cards. As I said, you can download it if you want to check it out. As a heads up, in this issue, we did a little bit of a darker tone than I normally go with the game. So there is a little elements of body horror and some like unspecified medical issues. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so we'll start with where's the Traveler always wanted to go? You have any ideas?
I have kind of a dark one. Are we playing like a dark melancholy kind of game again, or
I'm fine with that.
okay? I think that the traveler has needed to get medical attention somewhere and can't afford it in their home country
Okay, cool.
and couldn't afford to travel, but now could walk the distance across the water
And that
to
already answers why is the ocean always stop the Traveler?
yeah, and that one kind of implies that the ocean really didn't stop them, that capitalism stopped them, but the ocean is providing an opportunity now. Is that still cool?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Perf.
Do you want to narrate first, or
Why don't I be the traveler first?
cool? Let me draw a card. We cut in with the Traveler far enough along that we can no longer see like the shore. It's probably like let's go with a an early evening. We got a nice like sunset over sky, and as you're walking along the still wet sand, the earth begins to just shake underneath you. It starts slow at first. There's just vibration, and then it becomes a very like palpable shaking. You can see some cracks forming across the ground that sand is starting to siphon into. What do you do?
How close am I to these cracks?
The largest of them are a fair distance away, but they are opening quickly, kind of in all directions around you. So there's none immediately close to you, but they've been opening a lot, so that may change.
I'm gonna try to like run in the opposite direction of where the biggest cracks are forming and try to like double back if I have to, or like go as quickly as I can forward and try to like get to a clear spot.
Sure, sure, sure. I think I'm actually going to draw another card and see how this goes. So, you run. There's a couple times like you quickly change direction as another crack opens, and then a crack opens up like directly under your feet. You start getting pulled down into the sand, and I'm gonna pass it over to you.
Cool. The crack has opened wide enough that you are now just like sliding down through the siphoning sand, like buffeted by it as it's pulling you down. Underneath you, far in the distance, it looks like there's light. What do you want to do?
I mean, if there's light, I'm just gonna hold my breath, close my eyes real tightly, and try to like say sand swim towards it.
Okay. The sand is like piling on top of you as you're getting closer and closer to the light. This chasm is pretty deep, and like you're basically getting pulled into the walls and then like tumbled as you are forced lower and lower and lower. As you get down to the bottom of this chasm, everything kind of settles out, and you're still holding your eyes. You are buried under the sand. What do you do?
So I've stopped moving downward at this point.
Yep, everything is settled.
I guess it's time to dig my way out of the sand and hope this is a good place.
Cool. The sand is still pretty loose, so I'm gonna say it wasn't too difficult to dig your way out. Though you make it out like barely before you run out of breath. Like you're starting to see stars, or like, and you arrive in what looks like a medical lab. It's a room, and it's not like it doesn't have a ceiling, but it's just sand above you. Um, there's a entrance, like a hallway to other rooms, but you've arrived in this like medical lab that's kind of shining white.
Oof, that is not what I expected. I like this. Yeah, looking around, like how old do things look? Does it seem abandoned or
It's old, like very old. Think like early 1900s kind of medical lab.
okay?
Uh, so like still like the capability for anesthesia and such, but not super pristine. We're not looking at like fluorescent lights. It's not dirty. It's like very clean. It is very cleanly kept.
It's
Um,
not like dust covered and such.
yes, exactly. As you
Uh,
look behind you, there's a almost like a chute. Like it looks like you came like out of a very like specified place.
okay. I'm gonna go. You said there are doors out of here.
There's a hallway out of here. Yep.
I'm gonna go tentatively enter that hallway.
Cool. I'm gonna pass the narration over to you then.
Okay.
What was
Um,
your first card?
yeah, I forgot to mention mine. It was a force of nature obstacle.
Okay, and what was the second one you drew to see how it turned out?
I just was really just drawing for the color, and I got obstacle.
Cool.
It was to decide
Uh,
whether or not you made it away from that clean.
cool. The next card I drew was a twist of fate obstacle.
Ah, okay. Okay, so as you like tentatively push open the hallway door, you see a sterile, but not like modern, as you said, not modern fluorescence. There's still like a bit of warmth to the light at the time. Hallway that leads down. There are just what appear to be patient room doors aligning both walls, and the hallway just goes on as long as you can see. One of the patient doors, probably about four doors down on your right, is propped open, and you can see like a flickering light. Not, it appears to be like the flickering of candlelight coming from within, and you hear a very several voices that are just lowly chanting. What do you do?
Do you say that's like four doors down from where I am?
Yeah,
Are there actual doors or are they just like openings, like archways?
they are. There's like standard like wooden hospital doors. That is the only one you can see that's open.
I think I'm gonna dive into an earlier one, like the one like right before that, the room like immediately preceding that on the same side. To try to see if I can like hear through the wall to see if I can hear what's happening.
Sure, sure. Inside the room is a very standard like patient room. There is no one in it. The bed is like very finely made, very clean and upkept. And you press your ear to like the adjoining wall, and you hear say like three distinct voices just speaking together, but you don't recognize the language. In fact, like many of the sounds you're hearing don't seem to be syllable like connections you've ever heard before.
Is this one of the rooms like a hospital room where there's like a divider?
Sure.
I think I'm gonna like duck behind it and look for some sort of weapon.
Yeah, what do you
Like
find?
this is a patient room, not a surgery room, so there's probably not like a scalpel. Is there a bedpan?
Sure. Yeah, that sounds perfect.
I'm gonna grab onto that.
Okay.
And I'm gonna prep myself for whatever is coming maybe into this room.
Okay. I'm gonna turn the narration over to you.
Cool.
So that was a important ritual, but it was an opportunity.
Ah, okay. Well, that's not how I read that situation. As you pick up the bedpan, there's a bit of like a clatter of like there was like a screw attached to it that kind of falls. And the chanting in the next room stops. And
So
then
is it like a dead stop or is it like a slowly quiet down thing?
I think it's a dead stop.
Okay.
The door that is in the next room opens, like the door that was cracked open opens fully. And then you hear bodies moving. It doesn't sound like footsteps. It sounds like cloth like gliding along the floor. And then the door to your room opens.
And I'm behind the curtain, right?
Mhm. Mhm. There's a moment as the room is examined and then you hear that same like cloth sound on the floor coming towards the curtain.
Oof. I think I'm just gonna back up, like, so I can be as far away from the front end of the curtain as I can, but quietly, and
Mhm.
just like hold the bedpan at ready.
They draw open the curtain and you see what looks like very traditional hospital gown kind of look, like sorry, more like nurses scrubs. Like there's like nurses scrubs, but they are solid black. Um,
Okay.
and they are just embroidered with like all sorts of glyphs and images you've never seen before, from like pants up to chest, just covered in these like embroidered stitches of these like horrible, terrifying images. As you look, you see the face of the creature is non-human. The head is vaguely human shaped, like it's like around the same size as a human's. Um, but there are just like long, tall, sharp ears sticking up off the sides. The creature does not have any eyes, and you can't see what the mouth looks like because there is a hospital mask over the bottom of the mouth.
Am I able to like? Do they seem startled? Am I able to like infer anything from their body language, or is it too non-human? Like, do they have an aggressive body language, or
They haven't seemed to notice you yet. Or they haven't made any sign that they've noticed you yet.
I'm
Oh,
gonna see if I can just very quietly slip by them without touching them. Like maybe they just can't see. That's what's going through my head right now. It's
all
like
right.
the hold my breath, like scooting by, just making as little noise as possible.
Let's see how this goes for you. You managed to slip by them very, very quietly. There's one who just pulled open the curtain, and then there are two in the hallway standing there, like looking after their friend. They don't seem to notice you as you like tiptoe past them.
I
And
want
I'm
to. Oh, sorry. Go
what?
ahead.
I was gonna say I'm gonna give you narration at this point.
Okay.
What was that card that
I
you
was.
had?
Oh, that was.
Oh, you said a ritual.
Yeah, yeah. What was your card?
My first one was something humanity has never seen, obstacle, and then you got an opportunity for the getting out of there.
Ah, cool. Okay, so after slipping past the two in the hallway, the two are standing between you and the room you entered the hallway from. And like right to your right is the open door. And then down the hallway, you just don't see an end to the hallway at all. It just seems patient rooms as far as you can see. And glancing into the room, there is a chalk circle drawn in the middle of the room. The bed has been pushed all the way to the side. And in the middle of this circle, you see a very normal looking human man. I think he's like in, oh, what are those called? Like hospital gowns, the paper gown.
Mm-hmm.
And he's laying, kind of struggling for breath in the middle of this circle. What do you do?
Does he see me?
He is He's facing your direction, but he's kind of wide-eye looking around while gasping for breath. If he's seen you, he's not made any you've not noticed any recognition of that.
Okay, I'm gonna approach him and like gesture for him to be quiet if he makes any acknowledgement that he sees me.
I don't think he's going to notice you unless you touch him.
I'm not gonna touch him, but I'm gonna like look around the room and see if there's anything I can break the chalk circle with. Like, is there like a mop or a broom or like a piece of cloth I can like wipe and break
Yeah,
the
yeah,
with?
absolutely. Just whatever you'd like there.
Cool. I think there's like just a piece of cloth somewhere, and I'm gonna use it to like break the chalk circle.
The moment the chalk circle breaks, the man stops, gasping for breath, looks at you, and then gets a very wide grin. And I'm going to hand narration to you. So the card I drew was an ancient force recently awakened, and it was an obstacle.
Ah, naturally. He grins and then he brings his hand to his mouth and gestures for you to shush. And then he stands up and he comes over to you and he's like, "We need to get out of here now," as hushed as he can. And then he offers you his hand and like offers to like take you out of the room.
I take his hand.
Cool. He pulls you into the hallway and has now made enough noise that the figures have like turned and started coming back towards you. As you can see them move, it doesn't actually look like they're like walking. It is very much like they are gliding. The cloth feet of the scrubs are just like rubbing against the ground. And you hear this like high pitched, like almost a radio like beep in your head. Like there's like intense feedback as they start like rushing towards you. And he grabs your hand and pulls you down the hall, like towards that like endless hallway of patient rooms.
I'm running along.
Cool. They're much slower than you both are, moving very, very quickly down the hall. He sees an open patient room and like pulls you inside. And
Yeah,
he like, pulls. Go ahead.
I think like yeah, I get pulled inside and I just push the door closed behind us.
And as you push the door closed, you feel suddenly just how close he is to you. You turn and like you're like inches apart from each other and breathing very heavily. And he looks at you and he's like, "Hey, thanks."
I think with the adrenaline surging, like there's a moment of like, what are those things? And then I kind of think I could get lost in his eyes a little bit.
That makes sense. I think like brushes the hair out of your face and then says, "Don't worry about it. We're safe for now." And then I think he guides you over towards the bed. And then I'm gonna pass narration over to you.
Okay, give me a sec. What was the card?
Someone you could love, obstacle.
We're gonna pick up immediately with him like guiding you over to the bed. But when you get to the bed, there is a body-sized shape, like lump underneath the covers. I think there's a moment where like you both pull back in shock. It's not moving, but it's completely covered. What do you do?
I think I'm gonna pull the cover off the body.
Underneath is one of the nurses we saw earlier. Not the same kind of creature as before,
Mm-hmm.
um, but dead and withered to the point like the skin is just paper thin. What do you do?
I'm gonna look at the man who just pulled me in here and kind of back away from him.
He takes like one step towards you, like puts his hand on the chest of the thing, and as he does, like it seems to wither a bit more, and his features become ever so slightly more defined. And then he walks towards you, raising his other hand. It's a very like slow but methodical walk.
Do I still have that bedpan?
Do you?
I think so, yeah.
Cool.
I think putting it down would have made noise, and I wasn't thinking about that. I'm gonna swing it at the hand and try to like knock the hand aside, and then go for the door.
All right. I think you make it out. He kind of spins a bit with the force of it, and I'm going to trade hand narration off to you as you go out the door.
Cool.
That was remnants of some ancient thing, an obstacle.
Cool.
And most of my time there was trying to think of some way to bring that in without putting something dead in the bed. I obviously failed.
As you step out of the door, the hallway is completely changed. You are no longer in the hallway that is like the endless hallways of patient rooms.
Oh, I like it.
You are in a very familiar hallway. It is the hallway of your personal doctor's office. And as you like step out, you see walking towards you from the same direction where the like nurses were earlier, the nurse creatures were earlier. You see your personal doctor, and he's carrying a chart, and he looks very upset. You recognize this as like the day that you got your diagnosis about the disease you were seeking treatment from. The doctor comes towards you. What do you do?
There's a moment of like shock while I'm trying to get my bearings. Am I still holding the bedpan? Am I
Yep.
still in the same clothes?
Yep.
I quickly look behind me. Like, is the door? What's the door I just came out of look like? Is it? Which reality should it belong to?
It's still in the like endless patient hallways wooden door look, and it's open and you can see the thing inside.
I'm gonna rush over to meet my doctor and try to like get the doctor to come with me away from the door.
Cool. I think he is very confused, but like follows you, and he's very much like, "Wait, where are we going? I have to tell you something."
Well, tell me on the way, and I think we just start walking down hallways.
Cool. As you're walking, he's like, "Now you know the test results were likely going to be negative, and I hate to say that it's not looking good. I think that we really need to get you into treatment as soon as we can." And then as you round the corner, the man is standing there. His features are far less humanoid than they were previously. That same grin has like spread to like the top of his cheekbones, and like so his like lips are pulled very, very far back.
Mm.
His nose is like flattened a little bit, and the nostrils are very, very flared, and his eyes like curve upwards as well. So there's like a very like his whole face is almost being pulled back look. He's a little bit taller than he was previously, but all the proportions seem off. Everything just seems like longer and thinner. And he reaches his hand out and puts his hand on the doctor's chest.
Does the doctor react to this?
The doctor starts to wither.
Okay. I think while he's doing that, I'm gonna swing for his head with the bedpan. Like I'm tired of running. It's not working.
Cool. It hits the side of his head, and his head like snaps to the side, and then it very slowly turns back, and this grin spreads even further, and he says, "You shouldn't have done that." And I'm gonna give you narration.
Okay, so I'm not saying it's going to happen, but are you okay if this traveler does not get a warm ending? Because they're in a situation where they might not.
Yes, I do think that is definitely a possibility.
Okay. And after he says that, like where you hit him with the bedpan, you see the skin kind of start to slough off a bit to the point you can like see a bit like muscle and even a bit of bone underneath. And there's like a ripple change throughout his entire body. And the first thing that hits you is just the overwhelming stench of decay. The illusion of beauty falls away, and you're left just with this shambling corpse reaching out for you. What do you do?
Are we still in like the modern doctor's office? Or are we in like the 1900s doctor's office? Or has it like dissolved and become just sandy hallways?
I like the sandy hallways. Yeah, I think like behind him is still was still the doctors, like the modern doctors, and then you turn and you see just sandy hallways and then turn back, and then that's all you see?
I'm just gonna take off in the opposite direction and just run as fast as I can, and try to like figure a way back to where I was.
Okay, I'm going to draw another card real quick. Yeah, you run, and you notice that the man is moving much, much slower than before. Like, with the illusion of life gone, the vigors of life seem to be leaving it as well. You're running through these tunnels of sand, and you start going up a like inclined tunnel, not steeply, but and you eventually like break through onto the surface of the bottom of the ocean. I think like the shot we get is like this, like you pushing through, like pushing out a bit of sand to widen this path, and then pushing onto the surface, and it's just like the Milky Way above, and just this just star-filled night, and it's just very quiet throughout. What do you do?
Do I have any sort of bearings around me of like which direction I came from? Do I see like footprints in the wet sand or
I think you don't know where you are, but I think you could just guide yourself by the stars towards where you were going.
I think I'm gonna keep walking.
Okay. I'm going to either turn it over to you, or do we want to end there?
I kind of think we want to end there.
That's kind of what I'm feeling. I like this. We just got one nice event along this journey. Thank you. That was fun. That was a remnants of some ancient thing again, but this time an opportunity.
Gotcha. Um, I don't think I gave you my last couple.
Oh, what
Uh,
were they?
did I give you something humanity has never seen? Obstacle. Yes, that was the nurse doctors.
Right,
Then I had someone you could love. Obstacle,
right.
which was the man.
What was the one after that, which I think is where it turned into the.
Someone you once knew. Obstacle,
Oh,
and that was your.
okay. This is what I really enjoy about this, is that you make the scene element work, and then they just morph as you need them, and I really enjoy it.
Uh-huh.
Well, thank you so much. That was fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you want to pimp your stuff?
Hi everyone, I'm TP Hughes. First and foremost, I'm the co-host of Moon Harbor Heroes, which is a Masks: A New Generation actual play podcast, co-hosted by Anthony Sheets,
That's
who I'm
me.
currently playing with. Yeah, I am also the host of Incubator on Air, which is a podcast discussing and listening to new plays. You can catch that wherever you listen to podcasts for the most part. There are some 10-minute plays, there's some like excerpts from longer plays, and there are some full-length plays on there. So kind of got a wide variety to choose from. And that's who I am.
Awesome, and thank you for playing this game with me today.
Thank you.